Good morning, everybody. Well, this is Earl Stewart, live. You're just listening to my recorded introduction. I'd like to welcome all of you, especially the newbies. We have a huge following of regular callers and listeners, and we've been doing this show for a long, long time. But the name of the game is growth. The name of the game is helping other people around the planet to avoid being taken advantage of when you're buying or leasing a car, or when you're maintaining or repairing your car. So that's what we do here. I mean, it's pretty basic. We're not nothing exotic about Earl Stewart on Cars. It's just to help you. We are representing the consumers in what is a unique retail industry worldwide. Just about any other product you buy retail today is what is the word? By 21st century standards, by more of a civilized, consumer-educated kind of a flavor to it. If you've been into an Apple store or a Costco or Walmart, or I mean, most of the big retailers of the world have figured out if you treat the customer right and you're transparent and honest, they will beat a path to your door. They will come in and honor you and reward you with their business. Well, the car dealers have a different way of doing it. They have you a gun to your head. They have locked themselves in with state franchise laws in all 50 states, and they're a protected species. They're not vulnerable to even their own manufacturers with whom they have contracts. Every dealer has a franchise with a manufacturer, be it General Motors, Toyota, Honda, Ford. These are contractual agreements, but the manufacturers have very little power to control or correct the behavior of car dealers. And even if they wanted to, the state, all 50 states, whether you're in Colorado or Florida or Texas, wherever you are, the state associations, the automobile dealers, state and national associations, political action committees, over the years, many years, 100 years, they've been lobbying in protective laws and statutes that keep them from being, disciplined, from being punished for bad behavior. So it is unique. Think of it. If you think I'm exaggerating, think about what you buy. I mean, you're probably buying a lot of stuff on Amazon. You're probably buying things from Costco and Walmart and Target and Apple. I mean, think about the retail stores that you frequent, grocery stores, wherever you go. And is there any retailer that you can think of that you fear? I mean, people are afraid. The old joke, I'd rather have a root canal than go into a car dealership and buy a car. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. So that's why we're here. And you heard the introduction. We also talk a lot about maintaining and repairing your car. And the cars today, the good news is the cars today are built better. The maintenance is minimal compared to what it used to be 20 years ago. The reliability, the safety, all these things are good. I mean, I sound like I'm espousing a lot of bad news. The good news is the manufacturers have gotten their acts together and they know what they're doing. They are building good products. But you still need to know what you need to have fixed and what you don't need to have fixed. And we have in the studio here, you regulars know him, Rick Kearney, especially the YouTubers. Rick Kearney is a certified diagnostic master technician who can answer any question. I say any question. He might have to check with a few resources. He knows where to go. Finding out answers today isn't so much having it all in your head, it's knowing where to find the answers. So we almost literally find all the answers. Rick has most of them stored away, because when you've been doing the same thing for 25, 26 years and going to school almost constantly, which Rick is doing, to stay up with the technology on the new vehicles, he can answer. So instead of taking a chance and driving into an independent repair facility, whether it's Firestone or Pep Boys or a car dealership, or you're private mechanic, and just saying, hey, I got a noise here. Can you fix that for me, please? And then you give them sign a repair order, which is basically a blank check, and let them have fun. And they can repair anything they want, tell you they fixed it or didn't fix it, or you're going to get charged a lot of money. So if you have something you're not really comfortable with going in and asking someone and trusting someone to do the right thing by, call the show. You'd be surprised the number of diagnoses we make on this show. And we have a lot of people that have called in, described a noise, a rattle, a smell in their car they're worried about, and they didn't know, should I trade the car in? Should I sell the car? Should I buy another car? Should I bring it into a repair shop? All these questions go through. But once you go into the repair shop, then you're at their mercy. Phone call, 877-960-9960. That's our call-in number, 877-960-9960. And if you're online, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. I say YouTube because Rick Kearney monitors the YouTube channel. And that's some of our biggest and most informed followers, by the way, are on YouTube. youtube.com/Earl on Cars. You post to YouTube, and Rick sees it right away. He'll wave at me, and he'll say, we got a YouTube question about repairing cars, and we stop what we're doing, and we let Rick describe it. If you call 877-960-9960, Nancy Stewart, sitting to my left here in the studio, she's my co-host, she's my partner, she's my wife, and she has been doing this with us for many, many years. The thing that impresses me most, and the thing that I'm so grateful to Nancy for, is the fact she took our audience, which was basically, I won't say basically, it was an all-male audience. 20 years ago, all we had were guys calling, and there weren't many guys calling, actually. We're on the air for half an hour.
This is John from Palm City.
Right, right. John was the only one. John from Palm City.
Don't forget Jonathan.
But now we're getting a lot of ladies calling, and boy, I tell you what, we've got some smart women out there, and if you are a female and you've been listening to the show, because we know you listen, women are not, what's the word? It's probably a bad word, but they're not aggressive as men. I mean, it's a little terrifying, isn't it, to pick up the phone and call a live radio show? I mean, what you say is going out to thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of listeners. So live radio can be intimidating. You ladies, don't be intimidated at all. If you'll call 877-960-9960, Nancy will put you on the line. If you haven't called the show before, she has a very special prize, a reward. You regular listeners know this. And it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. I promise you, Nancy personally handles this. A special reward. If you haven't called the show before and you're female, and you call 877-960-9960, Nancy will tell you what that is. In fact, I'll ask Nancy to tell you what that is right now. I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Nancy, and it's all yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And that special promotion that Earl was speaking of is for the first time, well, two of the first-time female listeners and callers. The first two new lady callers will receive $50 as our way of showing appreciation for your support. We value your input and aim to build a strong female audience. So take advantage of that this morning. Give us a call, and you might want to just say hello, or you may want to share your experience in purchasing, leasing, servicing, and we would appreciate if you did just that. So don't miss out on this opportunity and give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. And we'll talk a little bit this morning about hanging on to your old car. There was an interesting article this week in the Wall Street Journal, and as prices soar, drivers cling to their old cars. And it's a very interesting and in-depth article. I'll take and share that with you later on. We have Lassie, our dog of the week, this morning, and she'll come to us via. There you go. There's Lassie.
Oh, yeah.
Via
Hey, good-looking doggy.
video, isn't she? She's a good-looking doggy. She's 6 months old. So stay tuned for all of that and so much more. And take advantage of your anonymousfeedback.com. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
You know, we our regular listeners know that we represent Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and there are a lot of people out there trying to get you to give a dog a home, and it is if I were going to be adopting a dog, I'd want to go someplace where I knew I could trust the establishment, and I don't put down any of the other shelters, any of the other dog shelters that take care of these dogs, take them off the streets. People turn them in, they abandon them. All of them are good because they're all trying to find homes. But if you're going to adopt a dog, the reason we support Big Dog Ranch Rescue is because they treat their dogs as if they were their children. I mean, they get as good a treatment and as safe a treatment. And the Big Dog Ranch Rescue, which has hundreds of dogs, it's like a resort hotel. They have play areas. They have a maternity ward. They have a town for puppies, literally. A lot of little homes that they build to keep the puppies in. There's nobody in cages, nobody, no dog in cages. And they have veterinarians, they have trainers. They decide this dog likes cats, this dog doesn't like cats, this dog plays well with children, this dog doesn't, this dog that. So when you go in there, all the homework is done. You're not walking around the dog pound and saying, and see a dog in a cage and you see, sorrowful look on the dog's face and you take that dog. It's a big commitment when you adopt a dog. I mean, that's part of your family. You got that dog for life, hopefully. And so with Big Dog Ranch, you're screened too. Big Dog Ranch is going to investigate you. I'll warn you right now, if they don't think you're fit to be a mom and pop for their dogs, then you don't qualify. So when you come home with a dog from Big Dog Ranch, you really do have a dog for life. You've got the dog you want. You have a dog you can be happy with, and the dog knows he can be happy with you. Well, maybe the dog doesn't know, but he trusts that he can be happy with you.
I think he does. I'm going to interrupt you, and we're going to go to the phones. That's a great organization, by the way. Lori Simmons does a great job, along with all of her volunteers. We're going to go to Pete, who's been holding in West Palm Beach. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning. I have a 2013 Dodge Durango, and it shuts off in the middle of the road. It was a recall item. They put a relay in it, and it shut off on Southern Boulevard, and it was horrible. Then the transmission wouldn't function, so I had to pull it off the side of the road, shut it off, turn on the ignition, start up the car, and then it went back right into gear. I've had no problem. Now, it's been shutting off every time I make a sharp turn, but very rarely. And so I looked it up online, like you said, and they had a recall. It said throttle body, but they said they put in a relay, and that was it. Still does the same thing. I don't want to name the dealer, but it's
well, Rick is thinking. He's rubbing his chin. That means he's thinking.
My first thought, again, I would double check, see if there's any other potential causes, on the internet, if anybody's found a similar condition. But if not, I'd be going right back to that dealer and saying, hey, you need to double check your work on this relay, on what you did for this recall, and make sure it was done properly, because the condition is still occurring. And that's something on Dodge. That's something they need to be checking on, because that's, if they did the repair to correct this issue and it didn't fix it, they need to be getting their field tech specialist out, their engineers, and find out what's going on.
And Pete, one thing also, I agree with Rick's suggestion 100%. I always believe that when you have an issue like this with your vehicle and it involves a dealer who worked on the vehicle, it's always good to, one, put your conversation in writing. What you discuss verbally, confirm with a note or an email or a text. Also, include the manufacturer. If you can call the 800 number of the manufacturer and describe your problem, it goes into an official complaint, and all car dealers get these official complaints, and the manufacturer holds them responsible for clearing the complaint. If you don't do that, I'm not saying the dealer is going to deliberately ignore you, but I know one thing: if the manufacturer is in the loop, they can't ignore you, because the manufacturer will not give up. He will want to see that case, they call them customer cases, the case is resolved. So if you go back and if the manufacturer and the dealer both know that you're communicating with both of them, there'll be a lot more focus on getting it fixed.
What's the number of Dodge?
Well, the number you get the number. Just go, you can go online, and they have every manufacturer has an 800 number, and it's toll free. You just call, and they ask you. Go ahead, Rick.
It's 1-800-423-6343.
Thanks, Rick. Say that again.
Google.
Rick, you're the best. You're the best.
Ah,
I was going to say I'm a first time caller, but I'm not a female, so I guess I don't get $50.
Well, call us back, Pete. Let us know how it worked out.
All right, I listen to your show when it comes on if I'm around. I find it very fascinating. Thanks again for doing what you do.
Thank you.
thank you for
Have a
listening.
good day.
Thanks, Pete. Give us a call again. We love your company. We're going to go to Rick, who's calling us from Jupiter.
Rick, you're sitting right here. Oh, you're Jupiter. Okay.
I've got a split personality.
Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Thanks
Yep.
for joining us, Rick. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I've got a 2018 Kia Optima, and at about 80,000 miles, I started burning 3 quarts of oil every 1,000 miles. I brought it into Kia. They did a test, a 1,000-mile test to make sure that's what was happening, and it was happening. Then they did a combustion test on it, and it seemed to fix the problem for about 10,000 miles. I'm now at 120,000 miles, and I'm still burning 3 quarts of oil. I know Kia has had engine problems in the past. I'm fighting with them to try to get some recourse, and it's been very, very difficult. Is this a problem that you've encountered before?
I personally, I find Kias to be questionable as they get older. Their quality is really, it's come up a long ways from when they first started, but it's still not near to what some other manufacturers are. My best advice in this case is to get back with their service department, request to speak with their next level management, with their district rep, and keep in mind the 2 words that I use for any situation like this: polite persistence.
Yeah, and the district rep is the manufacturer from Kia's representative. So the dealer is beholden to Kia manufacturer, and when they get into a technical problem they can't deal with, they're supposed to call the manufacturer's representative, and these guys are really, really schooled and qualified on the Kia product. So if you can get a Kia factory representative technician to get involved in the loop here with your issue, you'll get the best advice you can get.
Well, I've called customer service. I have a case number.
Oh.
They call me. They say they'll call me back. I have sent them all my invoices showing all the problems that that have gone on over the last couple of thousand miles. and unless I keep on top of them, they don't get back to me. It's been very frustrating. It's been a month of not getting any responses from them at all.
Who's not getting back to you? Is it the dealer or is it the manufacturer?
No, this is customer service, and they've jacked it up to supposedly a top management personnel. But the last time the guy called me was 3 weeks ago, and he hasn't called me back since then. So
here's a suggestion. I just gave the previous caller, Pete, the same suggestion. It's amazing what putting something in writing will do. Now, I don't know if you're into texting or email, but that's the easiest way to do it. If you have to write a letter, that's good. But when you have a discussion on something, an important issue like this, the discussions that have a written confirmation get prioritized over the phone calls. It's easy not to return a phone call, and as long as you don't hear back from the person that made the call, the problem goes away for you, not for the person that has the problem. But when you have a letter or a text or an email, you know that there's documentation that on a certain date, this customer called with a complaint. And if you don't take care of them, and if they're thinking in the back of their heads, if this goes to court, or if this goes to the Department of Motor Vehicles, or this becomes a serious issue, and this customer has this document that says he's called 3 times, and this is all documented, and I ignored him, they're in serious trouble. So put it in writing, and you'll get a faster response.
All right, I guess I'll try. I'll try anything at this point. Thanks so much for your help. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Rick.
877-960-9960. And don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. You can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Claire. She calls us from Boca, and she is a first-time female caller.
Wow.
Welcome, Claire.
Hi, how are you?
We're well, thank you. You've won yourself $50 this morning as a first-time female caller, and I want to thank you for supporting our platform here, encouraging ladies to call. What can we do for you this morning?
I have a question about the key, the keyless entry in the car. If your battery dies and you can't get into the car, so you take out the key and you take the handle off. When you get in, can you start the car, or is it just dead?
Yes. What you would do is take the remote itself, and usually you want to use the back side of it that has the emblem on it, like for a Toyota, it has the Toyota emblem, Honda emblem, and hold that right up against the power button, step on the brake, and press that power switch. And the little chip that's inside the key will be detected right there at that switch, and it will start the car normally.
Oh, that's one thing less to worry about. Thank you.
Now, I'm
Still got to
assuming
replace the battery, though.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about the battery in the remote itself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So and the easiest way to get that done, if you stop in at a dealership, go directly to the parts counter. Mm-hmm. They normally keep those little batteries in stock for them, and they're like $5 or $6, less than $10, and they'll replace it for you right there. The guys will keep the little screwdriver set handy, and they can change that battery out right there in 2 minutes time.
So Rick's saying, go ahead, park. Don't go into the service drive. You don't have to wait in line. Just park in the parking lot, walk into the parts counter.
Yeah, if you get the service drive, you'll end up with a $300 bill.
Right.
So head straight for the parts department.
Yeah,
And you'll be there for 6 or 8 hours or more.
And they'll put it in for you.
Yeah, they'll install that battery. You'll be in and out in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's good. Well, and if it can't get to a car, it'll do it again, right? It'll start it up again?
At that point, yeah.
Yep.
After that.
Once you have that battery replaced, your car will work just fine for you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Claire,
Yes.
I want to thank you again for calling Earl Stewart on Cars, and I'd like to ask you to leave your contact information with Jeremy in the control room. He'll give that to me, and I'll get that check out to you.
Thank you.
And, I want to remind you how many female listeners right now were listening to you. and you've given them the courage to call in. There's a lot of ladies who would rather text or maybe call me, but calling the show, it just shows how involved women are in this male-dominated, this auto industry. And I stutter when I say that because it's the 21st century. And I'm from the old school back in the 50s, and things have changed a little, but not that much. Not from where I'm sitting. So thank you again. Please spread the word.
Your program is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We are going to go to Doug in Boca. Good morning, Doug.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hope you guys are having a great day.
We are. It's been a while since we talked. What?
A few weeks.
Hour, or it has been 2 hours. How's the family? How's your cats? Okay, let's get to what the show's about.
Everything's fine. I've been busy doing my music, so I'm always performing somewhere, and it's fun,
Yeah, your music is great. I've tuned in to watch you and your wife. I'm waiting for a song about Earl on cars. You have anything like that for us?
That's what I'm working on, yeah.
He's collaborating with Lance.
There you go.
And then Ella's going to join in with
Good.
a meow beat.
There you go.
So anyhow, I love the Toyota GR. It's just, it's like getting in a carnival ride every day. I have a question for someone there. So the transmission is different than what I've been used to in a Honda. And so sometimes when I shift, it's not grinding. It's just being like a notchiness. And usually it's only in either third or fourth gear. I wanted to ask about that. I try to look up online to see if anyone else was having something like that. And there are a few people that were talking about that, and they said, oh, you need to change this, you need to change the shifter to a different, the knob to some sort of shorter, more direct thing. And it's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't modify the shifter because that can lead to concerns of possible loss of warranty down the road. Modifying transmissions, not really a good idea on a car that you want to keep the warranty in effect. And the GRs, unfortunately they're kind of rare right now. I've only been able to drive one or two. My recommendation, if it's not really feeling right, I would get into the dealership when you get a chance. Go for a ride with the technician and explain to them what you're feeling, so that way they can try to really get a comparison. And if they have a similar vehicle that they can compare it to, they may be able to do that. But otherwise, at least that way, the technician understands exactly what you're looking for. But you'll really want to make sure that when you go in and talk to the service writer who's writing it up, let them know that you want to drive with the technician, so they will understand what you're looking for.
And Doug, let me jump in on this too, because for other people listening, I know you're talking about our dealership, but anytime you bring a car in with a somewhat difficult to diagnose issue, and I say difficult to diagnose, it isn't necessarily that, but sometimes describing, a good technician will know what the problem is when they experience it themselves. And you have experience, so the two of you have to be together in the car. Now, when you do that, unfortunately, sometimes you're going to get an answer, well, they all do this. And that's an easy way to get rid of a problem. And so then what you say is, I'd like to try to drive another car saying your make and model and see if they really do, if they all really do that. And of course, if they all really do that, you just bought yourself a car that that's the way it's going to be. But a lot of times it's not the same. But as Rick says, when you hear something or smell something or feel something in a car, all sense, if you've got a noise in a car and you got a technician that can't hear very well, then he might not hear it, or maybe you don't hear too well and the technician does hear. So there's a lot of good reasons. Two people in the car, one of them being a trained technician, is a very good idea.
Okay, that sounds good, and hopefully the dealership would have another GR that I could.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem with a GR. Do we have other GRs in stock?
No,
we don't.
You got to wait for a GR.
We do.
No, you have to wait for a GR.
Yeah, right.
One would have to order one.
Yeah.
So one more thing. Let me just make this point. It's not grinding at all, but it's like you feel some sort of resistance. That's really what it is, and that it's definitely not any grinding. I'm just concerned that I could damage it, but maybe not. I don't know, but I will bring it in. And that's a great idea. Bring a technician.
Well, Rick just wants to drive it. That's all. I'm just kidding.
And I would love him too. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, in a case like that, though, Earl and Stu, if you guys would plug your ears for a moment,
Okay.
take it out and drive it really hard and kind of bang on it a few times. If it does break, it's covered under warranty.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I mean,
that's in your podcast. You realize that?
Yeah, you mean?
That's for
Jonathan, go ahead.
Well, bear in mind, the initials GR stand for
Get ready.
Toyota's Gazoo Racing.
Gazoo Race, that's right.
These are meant to be nearly a race car.
Yeah.
It is designed to handle an aggressive shifting pattern. So if there is something going on and you are shifting a little more aggressively than, say,
Are you a good
the
shifter,
average driver, then and it does break, but you should not be able to break a shifter simply by driving down the road and shifting in a proper manner.
Right.
You should not be able to. So if something does start to break on it, then that's on Toyota. That is a warrantable condition, and they
drive it,
must
yeah.
cover it.
Thank you.
Drive it briskly.
Yes.
And
Hey,
and
Doug,
isn't Gazoo-
get back
Thank
with
you.
us on that road report. We would really appreciate it. Unfortunately, I have a lot of calls backed up.
Okay,
Do you have any
thank
other
you.
questions?
No, I was just going to say Gazoo is from the Flintstone
Yes.
character that's alien. I
Right.
think.
The alien that around
May the
Fred
force
and-
be with you.
Fred buddy.
Thanks, Doug. Give us a call again. See you at sunrise. We are going to go to Bob, who's calling us from Lake Park. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Happy Cinco de Mayo weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. May the 4th be with you.
May the fourth be with you.
Welcome back, Stu.
Thank you very much.
I'm still waiting for you to shop at Belle Glade dealership.
Okay, I'll send her out to the swamp.
Belle Glade, yeah, the Apple Swamps. I have a two-part question for Rick. My battery's going to be 5 years old in November. Should I be proactive or reactive? And the second part of the question is the negative battery cable on this car, my Mustang, is constantly getting corroded. It's been that ever since I bought the car new. It's quite annoying. It has to be cleaned every so often. And, I read somewhere where sometimes they use this dielectric grease, but I put that stuff on before. It really hasn't changed anything. And I was wondering, somebody told me if you do a lot of just local driving, which I do, that makes it cake up like that, or it could be the alternator belt is a little loose and the battery undercharges and it gets caked up. What do you think?
Nah. On the first count for the 5 years on the battery, you're starting to get a little up there in age. I would watch for signs, those little the little warning signs that the battery's starting to give out. If you turn the key and it seems like it hesitates a little bit trying to start, keep watch for those. And if it does start to seem a little hinky, go ahead and get it replaced then. As for that terminal and the cable, the corrosion it's oxidation. So it's sometimes certain ones are just a little more susceptible. My advice there is 2 parts. One of them is plain old water and an old toothbrush. Spray it with water, scrub it with the toothbrush, spray it some more. Water will break away all that oxidation. Let it sit and dry for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then the next part is like a $3 solution, axle grease. Just a simple little bucket of axle grease. And again, that toothbrush.
Don't use your wife's toothbrush, please.
Well, that's up to you. My wife doesn't know. It won't hurt her. And you just basically, you rub that axle grease on, give it a good thick layer over the whole thing, because if the oxygen cannot get to the metal and cannot get into there, it cannot oxidize. You basically are creating a shield to prevent that corrosion.
So with the dielectric,
No, I just use regular axle grease that's on the shelf at any auto parts store, and it will create a waterproof barrier that keeps water, moisture, and oxygen from getting into that spot, getting onto that cable in the terminal. Just put a nice thick layer on there, and basically it's like if you took a piece of metal and you scrubbed it down perfectly, sanded it down, and you set it outside for a couple days, versus a piece of metal that you sanded down and then painted and put it outside. The one that has paint on it is not going to rust because the paint keeps the oxygen away from it. The one that's all clean, shiny metal is going to rust because the oxygen can affect it.
it's just a negative table. How about Vaseline?
Vaseline will work, but it may tend to break down under higher temperature.
Well, people don't have axle grease laying around the house, so he's just trying to.
Right, and that's why I say you literally can buy a tub, like a 1 or 2 pound tub of axle grease from the auto parts store for like $3.
Yeah, but you can get a jar of Vaseline out of the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, but the only problem with Vaseline is it can tend to break down as heat gets to it because it's not meant to be as temperature resistant.
I
and
see.
You can get temperatures of 200-300 degrees under the hood while you're driving down the road and that engine's running.
I got you.
Yeah, use the right stuff.
Okay, Bob, that's why we have Rick here. Hope he answered all your questions.
He's got axle grease in his medicine cabinet, by the way.
Yeah, stay away from your wife's
I have it
toothbrush.
under my pillow.
Hey, thank you for calling, Bob. I'm going to get, do you have another question?
What?
Give us a
I
call
think we're
again,
losing him.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. You know, we're always talking about Consumer Report, but did you know just in 2024, Consumer Report purchased 40 new cars, and they come in all sizes, meaning it could be a small car, it could be an SUV, it could be a luxury sedan, and every one of those cars are, guess what, safer because of Consumer Report and all the work that they do.
And they buy those cars from a dealer at retail. They don't use their leverage. They don't go in and say, hey, if you'll let me buy this Corvette at a special deal, we'll give you a good report. They don't even know they're from Consumer Reports. They go in and they just buy at the price the salesman sells them. They probably get gouged when they buy these cars, but there's absolutely no beholden to any manufacturer or dealer when Consumer Reports tests a car.
Good information. 877-960-9960. Ladies, I have one more, crisp $50 bill in my hand to give you as a second caller this morning. So give us a call, 877-960-9960. Waiting to hear from you. We're going to go to Roadrunner Steve. Good morning, Roadrunner Steve. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Great.
Great.
Meet.
Okay, on my Roadrunner, I have these deep water stains. Okay? I tried everything. I even went to chemical guys, hard water stain remover. Save your money, it don't work. So then I went to my friend at the auto body, he told me, Steve, get sandpaper, 2,000 grit and wet sanded. I said, well, I'm not doing that because I'd be afraid to do it with that. So what do you think about these hard water stains that are in the paint?
Ooh.
They're tough.
Sometimes that they do that sand or clay.
Yeah, the
I tried
clay
the
bar.
Didn't work. Doesn't work.
Didn't work.
Don't you have to? Can you sand off that?
You might,
just like the upper layer,
a
like
machine,
a
using a
body
buffing
shop.
machine with a compound might have. You didn't go mechanical, did you, Steve? Like
No,
you-
no, I use the old elbow grease.
Yeah, I mean a compound with a buffer. It's pretty high, speed thing. Might, but
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's one area that body work is an art form. I mean,
Yes, it is.
I can teach anyone how to repair a car, how to read wiring diagrams. I could take anyone and teach them to do what I
Yeah,
do.
Steve, if you have a
But to do
if you have a
body
body
work, yeah.
shop you can trust, or a body repair person, someone that you know, just
Yeah.
take your car and say, "Look at this. Is this going
wet
to cost
sand.
me a fortune, or do you think you can get this off?"
well, what Steve doesn't want to do is the sanding thing, and that's another avenue we go.
I don't want to do
No,
it.
no,
You
no. I'm
don't
saying
want to do it.
if you wanted to, you could take it to a detail place. I don't know who you can trust. I know, our guys. I mean, they don't do old, cars like that usually, but they will do a wet sand for areas that you have fallout or hard water stains like that.
I'm going to fall back on my old statements. I'm going to say get online to the local car forums, and especially one group I'd recommend hitting up for information. Google the Asphalt Angels.
Yes,
There-
I know them. I was at their car show.
Yeah, and find out who they would recommend for car care for paint and body work. Because to me, the body work, I tried a few things doing that myself, and I learned one hard lesson. That is an art form that I am not an artist in. You can't teach someone to do that when they have artistry. If it's a true artist, you can't teach that ability. That's an ingrained
Okay.
artistic ability.
Right. Okay, after the car is wet sanded and it does come out, would it be good to get the car clear coated again?
I'd seriously consider that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
well,
once-
it was painted in
You're going to take down a
1992.
lot. Yeah, getting the wet sanding process is going to take down a lot of your existing clear.
Yes.
Yes, but it was painted in 1992. I mean, the paint lasted
it's
that
time
long. and it
anyway.
started to
It's
shit.
time.
Oh,
So,
Steve, here's Google
hey,
right
Steve,
here.
what's your-
Vinegar is a natural cleaning agent that can effectively dissolve mineral deposits. Create a mixture of equal parts vinegar and water in a spray bottle.
I tried
Give that a
that.
try.
Oh,
Make a
you
salad on your hood.
You stole my material. Okay, guys, all of you, back off. Now,
I tried that.
including you,
the-
Roadrunner Steve. Hold on a second here. Chat GBT, and I know you just said that you tried this, and this. Have you tried spaghetti sauce? Hold on a second. Chat
No.
GBT, water spots can be stubborn, but you can try a few methods to remove them. First, try washing your car with a car shampoo and water.
Try
if that
that.
doesn't work, you can try using a mixture of vinegar and water. Earl just mentioned that. Or a specialized water spot remover. Apply the solution to a clean microfiber cloth and gently rub the water spots in a circular motion. Afterward, rinse and dry the area thoroughly. What do you think?
I tried the vinegar and water. Didn't work
Okay.
with that. And I used cleaning vinegar, and then I went to the regular white vinegar. So that didn't work even with a clay bar. So I guess my own.
How about
thing is to
balsamic
go-
vinegar?
A what?
Balsamic, a little glaze, a
Wine
little,
vinegar.
little balsamic reduction.
All right, guys, you're making me hungry
What
here.
are we on a cooking show now? Yeah.
Okay,
the
Steve.
other thing was, I used to have a.
That's
noise
all
in
we
the
got.
car. I divorced her, and the car is quiet now. That's all. All right, everybody have a safe day
too,
and
Steve.
enjoy.
You too.
May
Bye-bye.
the fourth be with you.
I want some
Again.
garlic bread now.
Again.
Okay.
877-960.
Alora's is right down the road.
9960. YourAnonymousFeedback.com. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. YourAnonymousFeedback.com. Text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to George, who is holding. He's, excuse me, he's calling us from Boca. Good morning, George.
Hey, how you guys doing? First time caller. I have a quick question. I got a
Hey, George,
2012
before you ask any
Yeah.
questions, how did you find us?
from the radio station, and then from people that have purchased from you. So,
Okay.
and I always-
so
I
you just
always recommend you.
accidentally tuned into the oldies channel and the oldies station, and you heard us,
Well,
right?
let's just say I've been listening to that station for a very long time. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. I want your age. Okay, George, what can we do for
2
you?
years from 70. Okay. I have a 2012 Toyota Venza with 107,000 original miles. And about a week ago, I was driving the car, and the car just went dead. Just engine stopped, dead.
Wow.
So to make a long story short, we checked it with the mechanics with the probe that they use into the ports, and it shows that there was no communication at all with the computer. So what they did was there's a whole protocol that needs to be done before you deem the computer dead. But it turns out that the computer died. The computer did die on the car. And I just found that just to be very unusual for a Toyota at 107,000 miles for that to happen. Rick, did you have any comments on that?
If this were 1999 and you told me that a Toyota computer had died, I would look at you and say, "Yeah,
Liar.
you've
All right.
been doing something you shouldn't do, because no, Toyota computers don't die." But in today's world, yeah, I have seen computers in almost brand new cars. The computers just quit. Something has changed. They've changed the processing on these things, the manufacturing of them, and unfortunately, our computers are not as bulletproof as they once were. And yeah, they can just suddenly stop working. Sometimes it might be as simple as just a circuit degraded inside and corroded through, or
Yeah.
I've even seen it as weird. Now this sounds crazy, but bear with me, because Florida is the lightning capital of the world. And if lightning strikes near your car, it doesn't even have to be an actual strike on the car, but just close to the car, the electromagnetic pulse created by it can actually cause the computer to fail days later. I've seen this happen. So
Yeah, I've
it's
seen it happen also with a neighbor's car.
yeah, it's
Or
unfortunate, but yeah, sometimes our computers actually do die.
You can't reboot it like you can a PC at home.
No, because it's actually a mechanical hardware failure in the computer. Just like with your home computer, if it does have a hardware failure, then it's got to be replaced.
And of course, the whole thing's got to be replaced. You
Yes.
can't repair it.
No,
Yeah.
because it's just a circuit board in a steel box. Now, the interesting part here is I would go online on like eBay and look for sellers selling computers from a company called LKQ. This is a nationwide company that gets computers, other electronic devices from cars that have been recycled. They've gone to the junkyard. And a lot of times they will give you a warranty on that computer, and you can get a brand new one. Now, what year did you say yours was?
2012.
2012. 2012, I believe all you would really have to have programmed in it is the VIN number, and
Correct.
a dealership should
Correct,
be able to do that. They may be able to get you a recycled computer at a nice savings over the cost of a new one, and because sometimes the new ones aren't even available to get at this age.
Correct. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I'm working with a private mechanic that has located a secondary computer. They're very difficult to find.
Yeah.
You know, you hear people say, "Oh, Toyotas are great cars," but if you go on YouTube, you see thousands of people having the same problems with many different cars. It doesn't matter what brand it is. So
Right.
it is something you're correct that does happen.
Yeah.
It's just that the car has been so rock solid, and this happens, and I'm thankful it happened to me, because if my wife was driving it with her elderly mom, you know, that wouldn't have been a pretty situation, so to
Right.
speak.
That can be
Well,
a
I can-
very bad thing. But you know, as for talking of quality, if you have ever looked at some of the cars on the road around you, you will see that some of the oldest cars that a lot of them are still running are older Toyotas and older Hondas. Things
Correct.
like the Camrys and Corollas,
Yeah.
the Accords and the Civics. I mean, these are cars that should have been in the junkyard after 15, 18, 20 years. And yet a lot of these 12, 15, 20-year-old cars, they're still out there running around. And it's crazy. There's just a greater majority.
Yeah, these computers
of
aren't
old
as
Japanese
expensive as I
cars.
thought they were. I'm looking through Amazon; they're around $300.
Right.
So what would if George had one for $300 and took it in to have it installed? What would the labor be?
I'm going to go on a limb and say 2 hours labor, so
Give us-
probably about
give-
$300 at the most.
So like $600.
Yeah, and if they have the
with the
proper,
part, yeah.
yeah, and if they have the proper scan tool that can program in the VIN number and
Correct, yeah.
do the
Yeah,
handshakes
which they're
for it,
doing.
then you'd be all set.
Yeah. No, you're right. I have a friend of mine has an old Camry car or Corolla, and he says the hood weighs about 150 pounds when you lift it up. So yeah, they are built heavier, the older cars.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just a little side note, I also have a 2015 Jeep Wrangler, and I know what people say about these cars, but rock solid, not even a squeak in the car. Been a very, very good car.
What year did you say it was?
2015.
2015 Jeep Wrangler we had one.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have a 2018 or 2021. I'm looking at Consumer Reports worst used cars, and they say that the Jeep Wrangler 2018, 2021, and 2020 are the worst used cars you can buy. So you got a good one.
Yeah, and George, as prices soar, that definitely is worth holding on to. Those old
Well, that's what I
cars,
said to-
they come in handy.
Yeah. I said to my mechanic after we fix it, do I hold on to it? He goes, "Hey, they last forever." I go, "Okay, we hold on to it."
There you go.
I don't want to belay the conversation anymore. I know you got a lot of callers. Thank you guys so much. I've been dying to call in, and I finally did it.
Congrats. Thank you so much.
Glad to hear from you.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, it was great
Thank
hearing
you.
from you, George. Give us a call again, 877-960-9960. Excuse me. Let's go to James, who has been holding. James is calling us from Boynton Beach.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, James.
How you all doing? I hope everybody's well.
Yeah.
We are. Thank you.
Good. Listen, I have a 2001 Mustang convertible,
Look at.
and the gentleman with the hard water spots made me realize I should ask your advice. It's the original top, and it's showing some signs of age, and I was wondering if anybody had any tips on cleaning up, refurbishing it, that kind of thing.
With the canvas tops, I'd be very careful with the age
No,
of them.
it's the vinyl.
Vinyl. Oh,
Be more careful.
Yeah, even more careful. I would look for the commercial products online. Make sure you investigate them thoroughly as to, what the best quality is for products that you can find. And again, one of my favorite go-tos: go online and look for forum sites that that are for classic Mustang sites, and talk to those guys. Find out what products they like to use for cleaning them, and that is your best bet. Because I know I'm a go-getter for jump on a forum site, because you're talking to people all around the world, and they will figure out how to get that fixed, how to get it cleaned up for you.
Yeah, because
I turned it off.
You know how vinyl ages.
Yep. Yep. It gets
and it looks dried out, and
Yep. I'd be very
It's
careful
still
with
got plenty-
Armor All. I had
I
bad
know,
experience with Armor All years ago.
yeah, it makes the dash crack.
Yep. It did on mine.
And so I don't even dream of putting it on that old top, and it's still tight. It's still no tears or anything. It's just starting to get that plastic gray look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that where like that? It's getting that like it's actually wearing a little bit, and you're seeing like the original dye or whatever the coloring to it is.
Yeah,
just
it's starting to get that top layer.
I'm wondering if there's that's something for Google search where you look if there is a restoration process, like some sort of, like you said, a commercial product that is put out on there almost dyes
a
it.
product back to black, but I didn't know if
Yeah.
that would be something.
No, I
something
think
to use on it.
that's
trim.
more meant for the trim.
Yeah.
I mean, you might
Yeah,
try
the
it a
hard
little
plastic.
spot on your top, just somewhere down
Good
low
idea,
where you're not
good
going to
idea.
see it very much. But
Right.
yeah, I'd be careful with that.
Yeah, that's why I called you all. I've just been trying to just keep it clean with water.
Right.
Maybe one other question. I'm looking for a good silicone spray product for my on my cars, for my door gaskets, all that kind of stuff. You know of anything that doesn't have a petroleum pressurization to it?
Ooh, not off the top of my head. And for that, I usually recommend the. It's like you get like the lubricant is a paste, and just use a
really?
little toothbrush or something to work that in on those gaskets, because we have found that spraying silicone sprays inside the doors can actually mess with any electronics in there. So like your
Okay.
window switches and the like, that silicone can get in there and wreak havoc with it.
Hey, I found a
No
product.
kidding.
Write this down. It's called 303 Aerospace Protectant. Sounds pretty.
Aerospace protectant, really?
303 Aerospace sounds very, very strong.
Very scientific.
It's a vinyl top protectant, and this is an AI that came up. So it says avoid armor all.
Yeah, I just
at all
Googled
costs.
that. They got half a dozen. They got a dozen or more of silicone sprays without any petroleum.
Yeah. So there you go.
On Rick's recommendation on that paste, what is that paste?
Just like a silicone lubricant paste for rubber gaskets and the like. You can
look
find
it
it
up.
like Amazon.
Okay.
Let me see how I can look that up for you real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking actually at that 303 Protectant. They have their own store on Amazon, so I think all the stuff
Right.
they have a bunch of different products.
No
But
kidding.
yeah, it's on Amazon. It's $15 for a bottle. So
All right, great, guys. I appreciate the help.
no problem.
Oh, you're welcome, James. Thanks for calling.
Everybody's on their phones and their computers right now trying to find
Rick,
stuff
if
for
you
your
find
top.
that product, let me know over the radio. I'll be listening.
Oh, will you?
Thank
Okay,
you, Earl,
great.
and
The
company.
paste, yeah.
We'll take advantage of that.
Yeah, right here on Amazon, they've got 4 lifetime industrial silicone multi-purpose lubricant, and it's just a simple little paste with the brush in the lid of the can, and
All right, I'll check
it's
it out.
What's the name of it?
$11 for a 4-ounce can.
What's the name of it?
Cheap.
It's 4 lifetime industrial silicone multi-purpose lubricant.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Have a great weekend.
You're
You
welcome.
too.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. You do the same.
Now we just need to
Boy, the
remember all
sil-
that for the next person with a roof problem. We can just whip it out like we know. 'Cause
Absolutely.
We know.
There's so many specialties in the silicone sprays here that are waterproof, and there's so many YouTubes that I'm looking at right now to show you how to use them and not, directly spray whatever you're trying to fix. Okay, folks, our number here. Let me get my headphones back on. It's Mark, who's been holding. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, Mark.
Thanks for holding.
You're welcome. My question is about this extended warranty. I have a 2019 Toyota Avalon, and I was sent a request to call in to this number, but your letterhead the Earl Stewart letterhead is on here, okay? And when I called the number, they had no idea who Earl Stewart was or Josh Stewart. They just knew you were a Toyota dealership. I'm just wondering if it was a scam.
It was a scam on us, and I've had other complaints on this. The company that sends that mailer out is the Toyota Distributorships holding company, Jim Moran and Associates, and they are the
Right,
ones
that's
that.
who they said. They said.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So
Jim
I.
Moran and Associates. Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but then I said that.
So I've
I'm not doing
a customer of ours called me. I called the regional manager for Jim Moran and Associates and told him that I didn't appreciate that letter.
I told him to stop immediately.
And it was all. They told him to stop it immediately. And the worst thing about it is, my son Josh was signing the letter, and his signature was shown on the letter. So they misrepresented who we are, what we do. And we've stopped it thanks to customers like you that knew enough to call us and tell us about it. But our marketing got away from us. I accept full responsibility for that because I should check anything that our company sends out with our signature on it, and I didn't check it. So if I'd have read it, I would not have allowed the letter to go out.
Well, I said to them, I'm not doing anything over the phone.
Right.
Send me a written letter, with the items in any brochure about the plan. All right? And then when I got the letter, and again, this letter is dated April 22nd. I don't know when you spoke to them, but it seems like they're still sending it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it says it's Century Warranty Services.
Yeah, we spoke to him. It was in the last week. I think it was last Thursday or Friday, and so that predated our conversation with Jan.
Yeah, and it's administered out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, we're well aware of all the details.
Yeah, we dropped the ball there, and the embarrassing thing to me, it embarrasses the hell out of me, because one thing I've always said is, if you're solicited to buy an extended warranty by mail or text or anything like that, ignore it. And so here I am giving our listeners advice that I'm violating myself with my own dealership. So I can't tell you how embarrassed I was that happened, and I do apologize.
I'm just wondering, I got the brochure, and it is basically an extended mechanical warranty.
It is the same. Yeah, they're the same warranties that we do offer for sale in the dealership. So the product is real. It was how they sold it, with a fear-based, watch out, your car's out of warranty, act now sort of thing, which is not our style. So, but thank you for letting us know. And thank you. That's why we have great listeners and great customers.
Yeah, just one more. I'm just wondering, because I have this Avalon, and it's got like 18,200 miles on it, and I love it, and I really want to keep it. But my warranty that I had bought from the dealership is going to run out in August, and I said, well, they're going to give you an additional 70,000 miles on that, and they're going to charge you $4,200 for 84 months, 70,000 miles. And they said, well, the down payment is $219, and then it's $165 a month for the next 24 months. And I'm wondering, the way something can break down in a car today, that I guess if it's major, that if it costs you about $585
it's something. It's something that you have to consider. Generally speaking, Earl doesn't advise. He says if you can self-insure on a car, in other words, just be prepared for a repair, especially on a new.
You bought a good product.
Yeah.
You maintained the product according to the factory recommended maintenance schedule, and you don't need an extended warranty. The reason we sell extended warranties is the reason people sell fire insurance and life insurance and car insurance. Insurance buys peace of mind. You have some control when you buy a car. If you go out and you buy a marginal car, if you don't do your homework and you buy a 2018 Jeep Wrangler, which Consumer Report says is
No, wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't touch it.
then if you accidentally bought one, you might want to consider buying an extended warranty.
Yeah, except for the insurers know the same thing, so you're going to spend an arm and a leg for that warranty.
Yeah. So if you buy a good product and then you take care of it, and of course, as Stu says, if you don't take care of it, the warranty's not going to protect you anyway because they're going to demand that they see the maintenance that you performed on the car. If you don't have receipts for the factory recorded maintenance, then your warranty is null and void. So
well, that's all on computer now, so you don't have to keep the receipts anymore.
Well, they have it in the computer.
Mark, your concerns are valid, and the decision
Not at
is
Charlie's
personal.
garage. I mean,
That's right, but he can't do warranty work.
Do you have any other
Oh no, he
questions?
can do oil changes.
yeah,
Very
maintenance
good.
work. Yeah. So anyway, my advice to you is don't buy the warranty.
Yeah. Would your dealership sell the same warranty?
Yeah, we
That
sell.
is-
We do. We sell the same warranty. We sell warranties. You know, we it's a product that people want, and you know, I'm one of these people that believes. You know, my personal philosophy is, if I can afford to pay something that happens to my house or to myself or medically, or I try to carry big deductibles on things that are vital, like I have to have fire insurance, but I have to have health insurance. I try to have higher deductibles. The warranty companies are insurance companies is what they really are. And
Right.
Warren Buffett, he's one of the richest men in the world, and he made it all through his insurance companies. So the insurance companies, the warranty companies make a huge profit. I say bank it yourself. You know, if you don't mind paying $150 a month, take the $150 a month and put it in the bank and earn interest. And in the end, after 3 or 4 years, if something does happen, you probably made enough in compounded interest to pay for the repairs. So that's my personal philosophy about warranties. But yes, we do sell those warranties.
At the same price.
At the same time, yeah, you know, if I sold a car, a used car, for example, and the customer people insist on having insurance, and if I can't provide the product, then they will go to my competition, who will sell it to them. So I sell them a good warranty, a fair warranty, a balanced warranty, and my personal philosophy is I wouldn't buy it, but I am selling it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the information.
Thank you, Mark.
Give us a call again. I hope we were able to help you. Let's go to Frank, who's a regular caller from Jupiter Farms. Good morning, Frank.
Hey, good morning. My goodness. Sorry
Hey,
about that. I was kind of dozing off listening to everybody. All right. I got a variety of stuff. I'll try and catch it all very quickly. First and foremost, I enjoy listening to Earl Stewart with his sunrise. So you guys have a beautiful view. It reminds me when we were staying in Marathon on a campground for a few months, watching the sunset. So we got it at the end of the day. You guys got it at the front of the day. And the other day we took the wife's Audi up to Stewart for alignment because the front tires wore out prematurely at 14,000 miles. And so we got the alignment. Can you guys actually do alignment with air ride suspension at your dealership, or is that going to have to stay at Audi?
I would keep that at Audi because we may not have the specifications in our machine for Audis.
Okay.
We should have, and we probably could muddle our way through it, but I think we have one tech in our shop that is rather familiar with German cars, and most everybody else, the techs are going to run for all the hills by the time you get there. You're not going to find too many techs that actually will want to really work on it.
But the warning, based on what Rick just said, is that Audis, Mercedes, BMWs, these cars, they're luxury cars. And if you go to an Audi dealer, you're going to pay through the nose. So, as Rick said, there are shops that specialize, independent. I definitely look for a independent European repair facility, independent. that has good Google rating, has good Better Business Bureau, that may be recommended by a friend. But if you go into an Audi dealer or any European manufacturing dealer, they charge an arm and a leg.
Yeah, we bought this car new. It's 2 years old, so
yeah.
While we still got warranty, we're going to keep it, but after that, we're going back to Lexus, which she had before. But having said that, other couple real quick things. God, the sun is in my eyes now. I did send you guys some pictures of some trucks for Rick to look at. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for helping me with the title work for my son's truck.
Oh.
I spoke to Patty. I understand that's all finally done. I'm going to come in next week and square up or something. I don't know if there's much charge on that or not, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
We're glad we could help out, Frank, and thank you for the call.
Yeah. And no, real quick, one more thing, if I may. We went on a road the other day out of Stewart called Indian Street, and it turns into Highway 714, and it's all covered with trees for about 12 miles. Have you guys ever been on that or heard about that?
No.
It's a really beautiful ride. It ends up on 710, which is Indiantown Road out near Okeechobee. But it's a 2-lane highway. It takes you back in Florida how it used to be when we grew up.
Oh, is that the Martin Memorial Highway?
I believe it is.
Yeah. I've driven that a couple times. Beautiful. The trees overlapping the whole road. Yep. It's If you were to take, for those listening, if you went north on 995, just up into Martin County a little bit, it's the Martin Memorial Highway that then goes west over to Okeechobee City. And this road it's a tree-lined road where the trees are just covering the road. It's beautiful.
Sounds pretty.
Makes a nice drive.
Yeah. Rick is now with the Chamber of Commerce, so make notation.
Okay, well,
Frank, it's been great talking to you.
ahead.
I got 2 more calls backed up, and we are getting ready to go to some texts and some YouTubers.
Yeah, 303 is a good product, by the way.
Thank you. I'll make a notation of that, too. Good morning, John. John's calling us from Palm City.
Good morning.
Good morning.
An inexpensive way for the man that called with the problem on his battery terminal. This is what I use. You go and it's a cheap way to take care of it. It's a cloth disc. It's on a card. It's mounted. There's a red and a green one. Red is for the positive. Green. It fits. It's a cloth, fiber cloth, round disc. Very inexpensive, and it goes underneath the battery cable, between the battery and the cable, and it's corrosion-proof, insured. That helps save the battery.
Yeah, I've seen those and used them. You just got to be real careful that when you do use them, make sure the terminal still gets all the way down onto the battery so you get a good fit with it.
Yes, I've used it for years, and they're a little hard to find in the auto stores. But the second thing I want to say was Rick said great advice of not putting that battery into the remote. These round batteries that you buy for the home remotes, and they fill other electronics, very dangerous to leave them around because kids can find it and they swallow it, a round battery, and it's fatal to them, and internal organ damage and everything. So if you do buy, they sell them at Walgreens. You can put them in yourself, but you need a mini screwdriver for the car remote. But many of the home remotes, you slide the panel and put them in. Just don't leave that disc, that battery, laying around, because if a child sees it, they have a tendency to put that it's shiny and it looks like candy to them, and it could be consumed, and it's very dangerous, that type of battery. And also places, auto parts stores carry it. They'll put it in even for you. And battery and bulbs is a chain that'll put that in very inexpensively, too.
Yes.
So
great advice, John.
Yeah, caution on leaving those batteries laying loose.
It is, definitely. Thanks for the call.
All right. Thank you guys for recommending. You recognize me for a long-time caller.
Yes. You've been with us a very long time. You're going to enjoy our mystery shop this morning. That mystery shop was done by Agent Lightning Toyota of Hollywood, so stay tuned for that.
I look forward.
Thanks, John.
We love you, John.
We do. Wasn't that sweet of Rick? Rick's amazing. Okay, guys. Stu, Rick, how about some Facebook?
I have a quick question. Could we please repeat the directions for the tree-lined highway in Stewart? Was it Martin Memorial Highway?
Yes,
Martin Memorial Highway.
Just go on Google Maps and put in Martin Memorial Highway.
Okay.
And you will love it. Take your cameras. You'll love it.
All right. Okay, I got one from Anne-Marie. She says, good morning. Confession, lately I've been reading multiple financial columnists. What's wrong with you? Multiple financial columnists writing about what-if scenarios. Some strike me as full of fancy economic theories, and others sound like they're connected to reality. We are definitely connected to the real world. So here goes with a what-if the U.S. dollar was devalued scenario. Okay, Toyota is a worldwide automaker. A lot of Toyota vehicles at your dealership are made here in the U.S., or some are not. So, roughly what percentage of the vehicles at your dealership are manufactured abroad? About half. Not in Japan, but we have about half are manufactured in the United States, and then Japan's about another 20%.
But if you're counting Mexico and
if you're counting everything
Canada,
else, about half is out. But even with that, that's, I think, not trying to make commercial with Toyota. It's still the most American-made vehicle. I think Mercedes might even be just behind that. Anyway, so about half are manufactured abroad. Based on your decades of business experience, what do you predict could happen to car dealers here in America if the U.S. Dollar was devalued? Well, that would make imports more expensive. Next question, would foreign-built cars be more expensive? Yeah, generally, when the dollar is weaker, imports are more expensive. Would U.S. manufactured goods be less expensive and easier to export? All in theory, yes, but there's all sorts of problems when the dollar is devalued like that. Or number 5, could Murphy's Law, anything that go wrong will go wrong at the worst possible time, combined with the possibility of unintended consequences and things just turn to one giant headache? I've seen stuff about that. I mean, you can't really just devalue the dollar. I mean, it's not a you can do things to cause it to devalue. I mean, you could slash interest rates, and you can
have a policy that will devalue it, and the U.S. policy has always been to have a strong dollar.
Yeah. So I think that, and right now the dollar is strong as heck, and I don't think it's going to get.
And you can devalue a currency. I mean,
manipulous do. But then if you do that, then you enter into like trade war territory, and I think there's a lot of unintended consequences for manipulating currency. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to happen in the United States, but some hypotheticals could happen.
We don't know anything about economics.
We don't, right? I took a couple economic classes in my freshman and sophomore year. That was it. That's it. Oh, and by the way, real quick, is the Martin Memorial Highway, is that west of the Turnpike?
It's west of I-95 and Turnpike, both at that point, and then goes out to Okeechobee City.
There you go. Okay, well, I'm all caught up. How about some messages over there from those nuts on YouTube?
You don't get the.
Well, actually, I've even got another one going now.
I just want to hear from Donovan.
I haven't seen him yet this morning. He may have taken the day off. But,
okay, Donovan, you're on notice.
A fella named Mike. I'm hoping he's listening right now. Make it quick and easy. I'm still going to email you back though, Mike. He sent me an email asking about power steering fluid in his mother's 05 Avalon. Apparently, he's noticed it's missing fluid, but he doesn't see where it's going, and he wants to know what's the best fluid to use in it. If you can't get regular power steering fluid, which works fine in any system, Toyotas are designed to handle automatic transmission fluid. And I just recommend plain old Dexron. It's the least expensive. Just pour it in and keep it topped up. Now, if you can't see where the fluid is going, the lines themselves don't appear to be leaking, which with the 05 Avalon, take a flashlight, open the hood, and shine it down on the passenger side front area, from where the engine is, you're going to look at the frame rails of the car and look for the metal and rubber lines there. Those are usually the spot where it leaks, and the fluid drips out in such a manner that it gets blown away by the air as you're driving the car, so you won't usually see puddles underneath there. But those lines are usually the first place I look for leaks on those, and if not, it could be leaking into the rubber boots on either end of the power steering rack. But that's where I would start looking for those leaks.
All right.
Here's an anonymous.
I just jumped over. There's a couple of them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because my login, there's a lot of spam in the login, but it filters into my inbox better. This is a anonymous feedback message about our mystery shop to Garber Buick recently. And they said, Garber Automotive Group has 3 stores in the greater Jacksonville, Florida, a few more in Florida, a couple in Rochester, New York, and Chicago area too. They started off in Saginaw, Michigan, where they still have a presence. They've been around for a while, over 100 years. I think we noted that at one point.
Yeah.
But have only been recently expanded. I think they got the Jacksonville store around 25 years ago, but not positive. It's sad to see how they handled your mystery shopper at the Buick dealer. An F grade seems reasonable after watching this video. It appears they're looking for a home run, but in any case, nobody was impressed with their sales practices. We weren't here. It sure feels like it isn't easy buying a vehicle in Florida unless you go to Earl, and that's his opinion. Thanks for posting up, guys, and look forward to the next one. Well, you're welcome, and it sounds like you might have a little knowledge of the car business, like maybe a dealer or somebody involved. The next one, more anonymous feedback. What gets me about car dealerships is that with all the federal and state regulations and laws trying to protect consumers, nothing works. They totally ignore consumer protection laws with no penalties, or just change the wording to comply. Once in a while, a lawsuit will find a dealer guilty of cheating and then pay a fine, but for them, it's just the cost of doing business. That is true. That's what we were talking about in Napleton and their historically high fine from the federal government. Anyway, he closes out here, or she closes out with, they're all scum.
Oh, boy.
And that's fair. That's
Okay.
fair.
Any other
Here's
anonymous
one
feedback?
that came in just at 7:27 this morning.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Isn't it, a reason I think this is important is because we talk about it every single week, especially on the Mystery Shopping Report. Isn't it illegal to remove the required MSRP sticker before the sale? I mean,
I'll tell you.
There's no exceptions.
First.
A couple of weeks we looked it up for sure.
Okay. Hey, here's something about the penalty for removing the Monroney label. Removing a Monroney label also, this is from ChatGPT. Removing a Monroney label, also known as a window sticker, from a new car window before selling the vehicle is a violation of federal law. The relevant regulations are outlined in Chapter 28, Sections 1231, 1233 of Title 15 of the United States Code. Dealers who remove or alter this label face a penalty, ladies and gentlemen, of $1,000. And keep in mind, these labels provide crucial information. They're extremely important, including manufacturer's suggested retail price, fuel economy, and so much more. And
see, that fits together with the earlier comment about dealers flagrantly ignoring it. We do the mystery shop on this show. Almost every single shop, the Monroney label, the MSRP, has been removed. Now, I'll give a little bit away of a secret, but the mystery shop that we got coming up, the Monroney label is removed. This particular dealer probably has hundreds and hundreds of cars in stock, and they're all removed. On the Monroney label's moved, and the fine's $1,000 a piece. Now that's that would be a nice little amount of money for the government to collect, not only to get the dealers to do what the law says
Yeah,
they're
don't we
supposed
have
to
a
do.
budget deficit that we need to kind of fill? Let's start fining people.
Yeah, I mean, the government's always looking for money. I could point out dozens and dozens of car dealerships where they could bring in enough fine money to lower our taxes.
Yeah, that could be a plan. We should start pushing that.
That could be put into pretty good use.
But you know what? It's only $1,000 a car.
Only $1,000 a car.
Yeah, and this
Some
dealership's
change.
probably making 8 or 9. It's it's just cost of doing business. Like the
$1,000 a car,
yeah.
but if they have 500 cars in stock, one little visit would bring $500,000 into the U.S. Treasury.
And also,
nice.
Senator Monroney, I'm sure you've heard me speak of him before, but he served in Oklahoma from 1951 to 1959, and he's responsible. Most importantly, he is responsible for putting this law, into, I don't know. How can we find out how many dealerships have been fined?
Well, just look at our mystery shopping reports. Yeah.
Maybe
nobody's been fined.
Exactly. I was going to say maybe 2. So
I'd never seen a Fed at the dealership looking around.
No.
I got to get my uniform out of mothballs. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that, let me see here. It is 9:29. I think we need to go to, it's in the air, Rick. I think we need to go to Big Dog Ranch, not literally, but we have Lassie, and she is just as cute as a button.
Lassie.
And she is about 4 years old and weighs about 52 pounds. And she's just so cute. And she came to us, anybody know? She's looking for a forever home, and she's just, filled with a lot of warmth and charm. And Jonathan's going to roll that video.
Roll it.
Take a look and listen.
Hi, my name is Victoria and I work at Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and I want to introduce you to Lassie here. She's about 4.5 years old, about 50 pounds. She's a mixed breed, and she came to us from Alabama as an owner surrender with her puppies, who are all adopted already. So it's her turn to find her forever home. She's very smart, knows her basic commands, and needs a little bit of training on leash walking, but she's super smart. She'll catch on quick. She'll make the perfect family dog for you. She's very dog friendly as well. Super sweet girl. So I think you guys should consider coming to Big Dog Ranch and meeting her and taking her home to be your furry friend.
All right, what a sweetheart.
She looks like a hound dog mix.
I was saying, for your folks, you heard Lassie. She's not a collie. But
No.
she looks like a lab hound dog, and she's got
Yeah.
the beagle markings, almost like a yellow lab, but with light beagle markings on the back.
She is a mixed
Cool
breed
looking
from
Wow,
Alabama.
cool dog.
And ladies and gentlemen, might I remind you that
That we pay the adoption fees. I'm jumping in for all these these sick people. When you adopt our sponsored dog through us, we take care of the adoption fees. There's a lot of expenses that goes into getting the dogs ready for adopting and housing them, some indefinitely. And you get charged a few $100s based on the breed, the age of the dog, and how long they've been at the ranch. But we take care of that for you. And you get a dog that's ready to go with all its shots, neutered, spayed, bathed, cleaned, and it's just a great
going
deal.
out there.
Yeah. That's why we do
We
business
do.
with Big Ranch.
we do
Big
what
Dog.
we do.
My wife says I can't go out there.
Because you're going to come home with 4 or 5 dogs.
Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a win-win situation. Registration fees are paid for the dog of the week. And, of course, don't forget Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. And, the book is purchased by you, and the donation is, it's all of the proceeds, let me put it that way, all of the proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch.
And did you
That
know you
book
can
is-
buy used books? I didn't. I looked at the book the other day just to be sure it was okay on Amazon, and they're selling used books too. So you can buy used books for like $8 or $10.
Is it? And I think Stu 2 weeks ago said that he had noticed that the new book was $18 or
Yeah, it had been increased. Let me take
they
a...
had reduced the price of it.
Yeah, reduced. That's right.
Yeah, so at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, go to Earl on Cars or Amazon. You can purchase the book, whether it is, a used book, a new book, all proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. We are going to go to our mystery shop, which is Toyota of Hollywood, where Agent Lightning did a great job again, and of course, Stu's.
It's $16.12.
It is?
On Amazon right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
used book?
$16.12.
Yeah.
We were talking about how Amazon prices, and I don't think it was that when we looked last
Is
time.
that a new book or a used book?
That is new. Well, there's
And-
15 new and used offers.
In 2 weeks ago, Stu, the book was the book was $18, so
Right.
they keep fluctuating.
You
Anyway,
can get them used for $8.72.
Yeah.
Or $4.73.
And-
There's a bunch of them.
and all proceeds do go to Big Dog Ranch. Okay. Also,
Don't
through
do it.
Stu's elegant writing, he has really made this this mystery shop, Toyota of Hollywood, worth reading. And turn it over to.
Well, by the way, this is Hollywood, Florida. A lot of people don't know about Hollywood, Florida.
And we were, what I was getting ready to say, and escaped my mind, was that we went to Coconut Creek last week, and it seems like the tide is turning in the south end of Florida.
Well, the further south you go, the more vicious the car dealers become. Well, I wouldn't say that. Key West is pretty dull, but they have a Toyota
And
dealer down
Homestead. You go south, you keep going south, you hit Miami, and then it's
Yeah,
bad. And then
you're
you're in the clear.
Yeah,
you keep
you're-
going further south, and it's nice.
Yeah. So anyway, Toyota Hollywood is a huge dealership. It's one of the largest in the United States. One time they were number one, very short period of time. Long ago, Toyota in California has been number one forever. But Toyota Hollywood, they're in the top 3 or 4, usually 2 or 3, which means they sell thousands and thousands and thousands of new Toyotas every year. It's not unusual during availability of cars for Toyota Hollywood to sell 1,000 cars or more in 1 month. So they're huge. Here's Agent Lightning's report, speaking in the first person. I arrived late in the evening and walked into the dealership. I wonder how late that was. Do you have any idea?
I got to find out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I arrived late in the evening and walked to the dealership. I had to pass about 15 salespeople. That's the reason I asked.
I think they close late, like 11 or maybe
Yeah.
even midnight.
I mean, to have 15 salespepeople late in the evening in a car dealership will tell you something
That means
about
there's-
the size.
means they're selling cars at night.
But she walked by 15 salespeople. There were more salespeople inside, but no one said as much as hello to me. I approached the customer service desk, and a young girl greeted me with a smile, but didn't say anything. I then asked, do you know if you have any hybrid Grand Highlanders available? She asked me to please give her a minute and then call for someone to come up front. I stood there waiting. They had a one-man band playing music at the front door, along with an enormous Christmas tree. When I saw that, I thought I had the wrong mystery shopping report, maybe from the, anyway, but they had a Christmas tree.
Did they have an open bar?
Maybe, I don't know.
Probably for this age.
But this place is huge. After about 5 minutes, a young, eager salesman approached me, with a big smile, extended his hands for a handshake, and himself as Stan.
And he said he's on the midnight shift because they close at midnight.
Oh, okay.
Every day of the week except for Sunday.
Isn't that amazing?
Sunday they close at 9 p.m.
Yeah. What brought you in today, Stan asked. I'll be in need of another car next week as I'll be adding a newly licensed driver to our household. I replied, do you have any hybrid Grand Highlanders in stock? Unfortunately, we don't, he replied. I have customers waiting for 4 months and longer. They're also being marked up 5,000, 6,000, even 10,000 above sticker because of how hard they are to come by. But I do have several regular Grand Hybrids in stock, Grand Highlanders in stock. Would you be interested? I'll just comment here. It was right up front and almost bragging that they marked these cars up. You know, for folks out there listening in the business, and we beat up people for charging a lot of money for over sticker for cars. I have an issue with that, and our dealership doesn't do that. But from a business standpoint, supply and demand is a fundamental of economics, and you can't argue that. Short supply, high demand means high price. So when you do that, and you really have a short supply, and you really have a high demand, what the buyer will pay is, by definition, in the economics book, a fair price. Because our dealership chooses to draw the line at MSRP, that's a personal choice. So I don't give a bad grade for a dealer openly charging a high price, as long as he's open. That's the key word, transparency.
Right.
Okay, continuing with the report. Is wanted to switch me from a hybrid Grand Highlander to a regular, and of course that's not our first choice, but yes, we will take one. Time is on my side. I said, Stan asked me to follow him, so he's not on my side. I said, so Stan asked me to follow him so he could show me what's available in the non-hybrid Grand Highlanders. We headed to an elevator, went to their parking garage. They had several non-hybrid Grand Highlanders in stock. I picked a black one, a limited model with an MSRP of $54,559. There was an addendum too. It added window tint for $399, a market value pinstripes. Neither the Monroney label nor the addendum were where they were supposed to be. Now, if you were listening 10 minutes ago, we talked about the federal fine. Now, that's $1,000. And I don't remember visiting a dealer in South Florida, we must have, that had their addendum label, had their Monroney labels on the car. They're all violating. And if the federal, if the budget department or the tax revenue to people, anybody from the government listening, there's millions and millions of dollars for your picking right here in South Florida. All you got to do, hop in the car and start taking pictures of cars. You can collect millions of dollars in revenue, which will offset my taxes and your taxes, and that's what you ought to do.
The reason for the law, the reason you're not supposed to remove it is so the customer has complete assurance that the information they're looking at is for the car they're looking at. Yeah. And honestly, in a lot of dealerships, I mean, I can see even at our dealership when we can get sloppy with some of the housekeeping things, how Monroney labels could get shuffled around at a big dealership like this, and somebody might end up making a mistake. I don't think they're taking them off purposely to confuse people. I think they're just very sloppy.
Well, some are taking it off purposely, some don't. I mean, anyway, this had an addendum too, and it is alongside the window sticker, wherever the window sticker is lying.
Looked like a seat. I was trying to determine from the picture.
The addendum added, here, this is a standard. You regular listeners, pardon me for boring you, but standard operating procedure. Window tint, $399. That's $399. Market value adjustment of $4,995. That's because they think they should charge more money for the car. And $199 for door edge guards, which probably cost the dealer $50. Pinstripes maybe cost the dealer $50, and it's $199 for the two of them. Neither the Monroney label or the addendum were where they were supposed to be, as I just said. So we went for a test drive, and I was sold. I really liked the car. I'd love to see the numbers on this, but I see the window sticker has a markup, I noted. Not on these. I'll take care of you. So it did have a markup, but here we go with the negotiation. So Stan's going to take care of me. Stan, the salesman.
Stan the man.
And the man, Stan the man. He also pointed out changing the subject. It's a 4-cylinder, which gets much better gas mileage. I asked if they come up with all-weather mats. I was under the impression this trim level did. I'm sure we can throw those in for you if you decide to buy today, he replied. Did we ever check to see if the mats come?
Not on the limited, yes, they do.
Yeah.
They
Probably
do.
not all-weather mats. I mean, standard mats, whatever.
I'm just
that
basing on my personal experience because Emily has a limited.
Anyway, we went back inside. I commented on all the decorations. What do you have in the hoedown? Stan laughed, said, every month they do something new and big. We went to his desk, Stan's desk, and he asked for my number, pulled me up in their system. Stan confirmed my name and information. He then excused himself to go get me a price sheet, asking about my credit score to get me a good quote. He returned with his worksheet. I'll give them.
I'm sorry. I don't know what anyway, he brought the sheet. I'm sorry. That's an bad paste.
Okay.
Take that out. The cash purchase consisted of 3 lines.
Okay. So am I on the right place
Yep.
here? The cash purpose?
Yep.
3 lines. Okay. The market value, after they kicked it up about $6,000, was $59,559. Discount $5,000. Mark it up, not mark it down. Sale price $54,559. And of course, that's MSRP, and that's not really the sale price because wait till you hear what comes next. I asked if he could give me some more details, like what he's hiding on the sale price.
3 numbers. There's nothing in there.
Stan excused himself and said he would see what he could do. Stan also mentioned that all Toyotas come with 4 years, 45,000 miles of free maintenance.
That's not true.
And that's not true.
No, they come with 2 years and 25,000 miles of free maintenance.
Yeah.
Toyo Guard,
Yeah.
which they put on their cars, adds more maintenance, and it's not free.
Yeah.
It's if you're charging a sticker, you're paying $699 for the free maintenance.
See, what Stu was talking about is all the cars in the southeast United States, 5 southeastern states, are through distributorship, Jim Moran's Southeast Toyota Distributors, and they add something called Toyo Guard, which they make a large profit on, a very large profit on, and they charge the dealers about $250 for this, and then the dealer sells it for like $699, and they make a big fat hit, and you think it is really a part of the factory maintenance. It's not factory maintenance at all.
And
so
presenting it this way is actually goes against the way Toyota says you're supposed to sell it, and it's not true because it's not free and not even close, and not all Toyotas come with it. It's an option. You don't have to get it.
Yeah. And this is pretty much a deception that is done by all Southeast Toyota dealers. This is almost all of them have this on their cars. I sat and waited for about 14 minutes before Stan returned with a new price sheet. This one looked like your typical dealer worksheet. The top line was labeled market value, $59,559. There was the $5,000 discount. And then here are the fees, which are not fees, which is profit, which is a markup on the price, which he did not have on the price that he said was the price. So they tell you this is a price, and you can say, okay, that's the price plus tax and tag, but this is the price plus junk fees. And here we are, more junk fees. And everybody does this. We grade on the curve, but everybody, virtually all car dealers in Florida do this. $899 in dealer fees. A little joke here, Stu said dealer fleas, which is very funny. And $650 in title fees, which is more junk. I made my real price $56,108. So now we're up to $1,549 over MSRP. I asked, is this the best you can do, Stan? How soon are you going to buy? Stan responded, hopefully this weekend, I said. The answer is, I'll tell you what, you come back and see me tomorrow or Saturday, and I'm almost certain I can get you another $3,000 to $5,000 off, $3,000 to $3,500 off. So that's the standard get them back in the door technique. You can't let them out with a real price, because if you let them, meaning you, the buyer, out with a real price, you will do something outrageous. You will take the real price and you'll shop and compare it. And car buyers are not allowed to do that. You can only buy from the dealer that you go into the first time. So they're not going to give you the real price, because they don't want their real price to be, I mean, as I say this, it just sounds so absurd. That's the system, folks. So if you want the real price at Hollywood Toyota, you got to go back in. And then he might be able to give another $3,000 to $3,500 off. So when you go into another dealership, a Toyota dealership, you're thinking, well, maybe I could buy that for $3,500 less.
It plays on like a person's like gambling senses in their brain. It's like, I'm going to roll this dice and something good's going to come up.
Yeah. And the guy that you left to go to get the $3,500, which you probably won't get, he tells you the same thing. Yeah. If you come back, I had one dealer we shopped one time, he would have his, he would say to the customer, if you're streaming me, I'm taking out my business card now. He'd hold up the business card. He says, I've got your best price written here, and I'll show it to you when you come back.
Right.
I mean, is that childish? I mean,
maybe that worked in the 40s.
Anyway, he explained that he would have more sales managers on, and if I bring the sheet back with me, he will get a great deal from another manager. Well, it's possible.
It's working as managers.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Russian roulette. The price is. You can get three different prices, probably from three different salespeople.
On the same day.
And you got three different managers. There is no price. It's just the price that you end up with. And it's champions for the car buyer. So, with that said, remember, as I say every week after the Mystery Shopping Report, we grade on the curve. You cannot give a dealer an F, a failing grade, if all the other dealers are doing the same thing. And the grade based on how much more than outrageous stuff are dealers doing than the other dealers. That way you get an average. So an average dealer is not doing a very smart, nice job, transparent job. You give them a C. A great dealer, which you see once in a blue moon, you can give them an A. We have practically none of those. F, same thing. We don't have very few Fs, although we do give Fs when there is something that is blatantly illegal. And we can't use Monroney labels because all dealers take the Monroney labels off, so we'd have to fail all dealers on the Monroe label.
Do they get points for the Christmas tree?
There's the Christmas tree. That's a big tree.
That's why I asked about the open bar.
And the whole Wild West Saloon.
If that stand,
set up,
Wild West
that
Saloon.
Christmas tree is 5 or 6 stands tall.
Wow.
Well, maybe 4 or 5.
That's huge.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can text your vote at, I got the text number, 772-497-6530. The pain has taken over.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Well, the show's almost done. We're wrapping this up. We have some grades coming in. Jonathan in Palm Coast, I'll give this dealership an F due to junk fees, hidden costs, and ridiculous games. Everybody does this, then everybody deserves an F. And that's a good point. Some teachers don't grade on the curve, and everybody gets an F. From Bob, Toyota of Hollywood has a Christmas tree in May, and I am giving them a lump of coal F for their Christmas stocking. Okay. All right. Steve, beep, beep, I think. Yes, this is Roadrunner Steve. If they had an open bar, I would have bought the car. Ha ha, Roadrunner Steve. Where's the grade, Steve? Okay. I feel like we definitely have a disconnect with our audience on the grading, but it's hard to. You have to. That was nothing big. What they did, that's typical, and it was actually kind of pleasant. You know, it wasn't pressure. It was just the same stuff.
Yeah, the only place you could buy a car is at car dealerships. So if we flunked all the car dealers, you wouldn't have a car.
Right. Exactly. The whole point of the show is not to funnel everybody back to us because we don't sell Hondas and Mercedes, you know. But anyway, but as far as buying a Toyota, I wouldn't have had a bad time there. I'm going to give them a C because it's just, you know, that's what happens in South Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Cliff's Picks says, addendum not for me. I would walk away. I would never go to a dealer prior to calling for the out-the-door price. Also, must send the final out-the-door price. D.
D. Okay.
Sorry about that, folks. Tom Stegel, no Monroney, junk fees, and return trip requested. Take the Bright Line to West Palm Beach and buy EST. D. Mark Smith, D for disappointing. Mark Ryan, D minus. Brian Sedlatko, I don't like the market adjustments. They deserve a D. Joseph Kelleher, D minus. Johnny Z. Fradley, F++. Okay. Chris Pick says, I wonder if Earl would pick you up. He might.
Pick you up.
Jeffrey Bandis says D. Darren Sykin, D. For me, I'm agreeing with Stu. I think they're average, middle of the road for, especially for that area of South Florida. Give them just a flat C. Yeah, they got great decorations. Maybe they should have spent that money on training salespeople how to be human beings a little more and treating customers right.
True.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Nancy, you go first.
First, I want to say to the ladies, you too can vote. And I'm encouraging you. If not now, next week, we have a mystery shopping report every single week. And your vote is extremely important, and how you were treated. And what you paid for a car, whether you leased it, whether you bought it, whether it was used. So let's all get involved, ladies, please. I'm still building the platform, even with grades. My grade is a D as in David.
I'm going to go with a C, and it's understanding this is South Florida. Maybe this dealership in another geographical location, I might have come up with a lower grade. But when you think about Sodom and Gomorrah of South Florida, they're in the heart of this district. One thing we didn't do, and we need to ask Agent Lightning to always check advertisements.
I was going to say, one of the things they do, because they are, like you said, they're at the center of that area, and they drive the market with their advertising, because they're also for a long time they did this pre-pandemic advertising the used cars as new cars, and with very low unattainable prices. So that forces everybody around them, and it's a ripple effect. It corrupts the whole market.
Yeah, going into the past, when we shopped Hollywood Toyota before, we would look at advertisements, and they were particularly cunning and deceiving in the way they very cleverly, with the fine print and other areas, fooled a lot of people. About the worst thing they used to do, and I don't know that they do this anymore, maybe not, but a few years back they were advertising new cars, the impression of a new car when it was really a used car. And they were actually titling rental cars and with no miles on them, and using one of those as a bait and switch. It's you buy a titled car automatically, whether it's got no miles on it or not. Once the car's been titled, you are suffering depreciation, and the price you pay is usually too much. So. But I'm going to stick with my C.
For the experience. They have a D- rating on the Better Business Bureau.
Really?
Yep.
Amazing.
That means that they don't respond to the complaints. That's the only way you can get lower than an A. If you respond to all your A's, all your complaints, you get an A+. If you don't respond, they start lowering your grade.
We'll have to check some of the other dealers. Usually...
they also have a 1 out of 5 average review. Stars.
Yeah. Wow.
But,
Boy,
Agent Lightning had a nice time.
Interesting.
All right.
Okay, do we have any more time?
We do.
Yeah, I just had one thing I want to say about, because personally, Nancy and I and Stu know Jim Farley because he was with Toyota years ago, and we know him. He headed up the Scion division, a very moral, honest, transparent kind of a guy. He's now president of Ford, and they're attacking him in automotive news because Ford's losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
Look a little beyond the fact that Ford is losing money. The reason Ford is losing money, in this article in the Automotive News, is they spent $3 billion on repairing cars, new cars, trucks actually, with a recall campaign. And they didn't deliver them to the dealers, and they couldn't. So they basically had trucks they would not sell to the dealers to make a profit until they finally fixed them. And it cost them $3 billion. Now,
I admire that.
You might say, well, it's terrible that they had all these cars that weren't built right, but I say the fact that he had the courage to look at the stockholders in the eye and Wall Street in the eye and say, I'm not going to sell these. How many manufacturers sell these cars and they have recalls and they say to hell with it and they don't even fix them after they deliver them? Now, chances are, if you can get the recalled car delivered, you'll never see it again. 75% of the cars never.
He knows that.
Great
He knew that as
information.
well.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to go to BigDogRanchRescue.org. Take a look at Lassie. She's waiting for a home. We'll be right back here next week, same time on the Oldies channel. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.